All right, it's been like a week. The conference is done, and I didn't make a video in the past 2 days because I've been very sick, but decided to make one today. And just wanted to do like a little conference debrief, I guess, because there was a lot of time spent going up to it, and a lot of time spent during it, and not a lot of time slept. Um, so I thought it would be a good to just more so for me, honestly, than whoever's watching this, to just think back about stuff that happened, stuff that could have gone better that we should be focusing on for next year, and then also, I mean, things that went well, and we need to make sure we hit on again next year. Um, Honestly, one of the biggest things just immediately thought about are the people, because what makes the conference, are the people. It's the community. It's that sense of unity, sense of people belonging, sense of people being a part of something greater. And to have something greater, you need to have people to run it and to drive it. And at different parts of the conference, I had different thoughts on this. And at some points, like for example, here, the first 2 days before the conference, so this is the first day I was there. It was me, my dad, and the truck driver and the chef. We needed to unload a big ass truck, and we did it. And honestly, it didn't. Oh, and there was one helper volunteer from Chicago area that came, um, and we did it. And it wasn't as difficult as I remember it being last year. And at that time, I was like, okay, maybe you really don't need that many people. You just need like a select few people that are dependable, can get the thing done, and know exactly what needs to happen. Because other than that, actually the chef as well, but the chef knows the kitchen. But other than that Chicago volunteer, we all have done this before, and we all know, okay, this needs to go to this place, this needs to go to this place. What's going to happen with this later on? All right, let's put it over there. So we all have a broader vision of understanding of what's going on. So at that point, I was like, okay, you only really need a few people that know what's going on. And throughout the conference, I ran a snack shop to get some like donation money for the conference, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend my entire day sitting here, but it needs to always be open. So what I did was get a get a few kids to run it. And I gave them like $1 or $2 every, I don't know, $30 they made, and it worked. I mean, it didn't sell as much as it would have if I was there, um, but the value of me not having to be there and it still selling and getting donations for the Muslim group was very beneficial. Now, fast forward to the absolute last day where we're loading everything back onto the trucks, especially not ours, but the truck for the audiovisual group, because we had an organization come do all the audiovisual for us because last year we handled it. That was another reason why it took so long for the loading, unloading, whatever. But now we're loading the, they're called TTM, Talk to Muslims, I think. But they handle all the audiovisual, all the speakers, all the lights, basically anything you can think of for audiovisual for a large venue. And it's a lot of stuff. It was like 2 a.m. maybe. No, it was before that. It was like 1 a.m. because they needed to leave at 3 a.m. And they had 3 guys, and the rest were women. The first guy was sleeping because he was the one driving at 3 a.m. The second guy had already left because they have another conference they need to do the audiovisual for. And the third guy is the one bringing around the truck. And so it's all just women right there. So they asked us for help. And at the time, it's like me and 3 other guys. 3 other guys. And it's a lot. Like, if we actually ended up doing that ourselves, we wouldn't have made it by 3 a.m. So it would have taken us way more than 2 hours. I think there were, and all these like boxes, they're not even boxes, like they're like crates. They're heavy, and you're supposed to like roll them, but like there are ones where that are like 400 pounds at least. Like I'm like holding it up, and I can barely like stand doing it. So you need like 2 people on each one. Obviously there's some like that weren't heavy. But it had to be around 100 100 some boxes. So I'm like, yeah. Like, this isn't really our responsibility. Like, this should be all on them. They're like, we'll give you a free pizza slice. We're like, all right. It's not worth a pizza slice, but we'll help. So I'm like, yeah, it's not happening. At this time, keep in mind, like, this is the last year of the conference. Had like a few hours of sleep every single day, and just completely like dead. Like, already packed up stuff that day. Like, worked, I don't know how many hours before that. So like at this point, like, we're at like our limits. We're dead, and now someone says we need help with this. You look at the corner of this huge, huge like dining hall, and it's just filled with crates and boxes that need to go. So at this point, I'm like, no. So I go around, and I go to a table of, they're like distant cousins, I guess you could call them. And I'm looking for like just to get one or two people. I'm like dead. I'm like, can someone please help us? And at first, like, everybody just looked over there, and they looked at me, and then they were kind of silent. And then I think one of them was like, please, like, let's help him. He's dying. I was like, all right, bet, thank you. So honestly, everybody got up, and I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. And we all started working. It was like 20, 25 people. So we were done in like an hour, hour and a half. And I've never seen the loading dock so filled with people. And like, they weren't just like there, like they were there, and like they were helping, they were smiling, they were, I think my happy might be a stretch, but like they were happy. And at that point I was like, damn, like that's, all it took was just going up there and being, I guess, like vulnerable, and just asking from the heart. And we got people to help, and it was a lot faster than it was before. And that's, I guess, the point where I realized as maybe I was wrong in the beginning, where you don't need just a few people that know a lot. Yes, you need a couple people who are very, who know, like leaders, like know the thing very well, have a lot of depth, and understand the vision or the situation or the goal that needs to be achieved. But then around that person, having people who are extremely dedicated and hardworking, optimistic, positive. I'm just thinking of like adjectives I would give to these people that helped. And it's just, honestly, the biggest thing was like the positive mindset about it. Like, all right, let's do it. And even when they saw all the crates, and even when we were 30 minutes in, an hour in, they were still like, even like when like things were falling, we were having a good time doing, like we were like sliding people on the carts. It was just making it a good time and getting it done, and it worked. So wow, this video is long. But yeah, it went from me thinking that you only want a few people that know what they're doing to, if you can get a wave of people moving in a direction, that is real power. Because yes, if we applied like that was just applied to one thing, but that was a huge thing. Honestly, one of the hardest things that we needed to do by the end. So if we just applied that to other aspects of the conference and just got people joining in the help, that could make it way more efficient. The other thing, aside from the people, is the connection between the people. And I'll be very light on this one because we're already at 9.5 minutes. It's the connection between the people. And the way to do that in this day and age, in 2025, we're almost at 2026, which is crazy, is through technology. Because technology is instantaneous, and if you have one hub, everybody knows where everything is. And that's one of the problems we had, and we've always had, honestly, which has helped a little bit with the site, the public-facing site, but having something similar where everyone can see all the speakers lists, where they're at in the pipeline, all that. Everyone can see all the volunteers, what they have, what their responsibilities, their roles are, how like what they're good at, how many hours a day, how many hours in a week they have, all the vendors, all the organizers, all organizations. I mean, all the sponsors, the kitchen, the basically everything. When the bus gets there, or when the truck gets there, when the truck comes back, who's in charge of doing each thing, and just kind of like all that. So I probably will be looking into that and working on that for next year because I think that will be the most value given for any one thing that's focused on. Also, obviously, the marketing, but I don't think I'm going to be involved in that too much as of right now. Don't really want to be, to be honest. But it's always good to, when something big happens, so for me, this conference, this is something I know I will most likely be a part of for a big part of my life. And I mean, optimistically for the rest of my life. And I mean, I think I will always be attending for as far as I know. And as long as I attend and as long as I'm in an able state, I will probably be volunteering in some sort of way. So it's important to just review what went well, what didn't, and how to just make it better, even if it's just a little bit better next year. Because if everybody just tries to make it a little bit better every single year, in 10 years, it's going to be completely different. And that's all, the whole point of it, is to get as many people there, because the value that it brings is true value. And it only happens because of the work that people put in. So if we just put in a little bit more work each year, it'll be good. All right, long ass video, I'm sorry, but that's all I got for you guys today. Peace.